Venom is the latest set play zoner added to Strife. He has what feels like limitless options for what he can do when he has time to set up, but in practice he can be a much more simple character. He does have strong space control tools, including probably the best super for neutral, good pressure, and looping high-low left-right Oki, but has the trade-off of low damage and situational confirms, especially when he doesn't have anything set up. Venom's 5p is fairly stubby, and while it can anti-air decently, it's easier to stuff when compared to others, especially when they're a bit spaced. 2p is generally a low reward option. It's best to use this as your mash option rather than a neutral tool. Since 5p isn't a great anti-air, you'll be relying on 6p more often. Just be careful about throwing it out since it has a good amount of recovery. 2k is a really solid poke, especially when paired with a dash, but it doesn't have any low profile frames. 5k may be his best normal. While it's 7 frame startup, it has 8 active frames, and with the dash cancel ability, it will give better opportunities when paired with the ball set or dash BRC. And since there's only 6 frames of recovery, it's really hard to punish, though the animation is a bit deceiving. While his 5k is nice in the close range, Far Slash and 2S will be the go-to mid-range pokes. Far Slash has great range and a slight disjoint, but as a trade-off, it's slightly slower than average at 11 frames and has lower reward on hit. 2S has good range, a bigger disjoint, 6 active frames, and can't be low profiles, so this is another very useful poke. If you need a little extra range, giving a little dash momentum is a good idea. 5H is pretty stubby and slow, and is a complete disjoint that even hits behind, but it will mostly be used with a ball set rather than as a poke. 2D is a double hitting low with 9 active frames, letting you cover the mid-range with the low effectively. It also has low profile from frames 7 to 28, letting you avoid and potentially punish a number of strong neutral options. This is generally the go-to cancel option from 2k and 5k, but it may not combo without dash momentum near max range. JP is a good air-to-air option, especially since it's 5 frames. JK is a great rising air-to-air as it specifically targets up forwards. This will be very useful with ball sets too. JS is a more generally useful air normal and has a cross-up hitbox, letting it be useful for mix-ups. JH is a more focused attack for jump-ins, but not having a cross-up hitbox. This is a more reliably plus from IEDs, but IED FD JS is also strong. JD is a bit of a unique normal since it's a multi-hitting dive kick. This won't be used in neutral much, but is an important tool for offense. Ball set changes where the ball goes depending on the button pressed, with P going at your feet, K at about hip level, S above your head, and H at about the same level as K, but farther forward. Half circle forward K places them all down in less time than manually doing all 4, but is more vulnerable since it has the total duration of almost 2 ball sets. And once you have a ball set, trying to place another one where it already exists will delete one that exists and make a new one. QV is similar to ball set, but you make an explosion at a set distance, then the ball travels to the same spot as it would from a normal ball set. It can also be uncharged, slightly charged, or fully charged, leading to larger hitboxes and more damage. The uncharged QV gives a soft knockdown, but both slight and fully charged QV give hard knockdowns. This is your main combo option from Far Slash and 2S. Keep in mind there is a dead zone, so be careful about throwing it out. Stinger is its basic projectile, which knocks them down and away on hit. They can also be charged to make the ball bounce off the wall and set itself up to be hit again. The strike hitbox of Stinger nullifies projectile, so it will commonly win projectile wars if timed well. H-Stinger is the faster and more threatening option, but has a lot of recovery and will be negative on block unless really far away. S-Stinger is a few frames slower and has the ball move slower, but has 8 frames less recovery and is generally more plus on block since you recover quicker and the ball hits later. Even point blank you're only -2, where H-Stinger is -13. Full screen H-Stinger is +1, where S-Stinger is +24. Carcass Raid bounces the ball off the ground with an active hitbox. H-Raid is used much more often since it has significantly less recovery, letting it be useful for neutral, combos, and pressure. These can be done in the air too, which I would also say H-Air Raid will be used much more often, but this time for the speed and angle. And same as Stinger, all versions of Carcass Raid can be charged for more speed and damage. If you're still charging it when you hit the ground, it will place it on the ground inactive but still able to be hit, but it will go away if you do Stinger of the same button. Dark Angel is an incredibly strong super that controls the neutral as a huge disjointed projectile that is incredibly plus and gives a full combo if they get hit at any point by the super. You can even push them out of the super to try to frame trap them, or even sneak in a command grab while they think they're stuck in block stun. In the close range, Dash 2k, Space Controlled 5k, and 6p are all strong options. Even 2p can be useful trying to stuff approaches if you feel you need to use a 5-frame option. In the mid-range, Far Slash and 2S are your longer range pokes to stuff approaches, while 5k, same as close range, can use the 8 active frames to cover space with low recovery. And as a zoner, you'll generally want some space, so backdashing and IED back are fine options too. IED back H air raid is also a great option since it lets you retreat with a hitbox while being very hard to punish. Once you have space, ball set or stinger are the go-to options, but don't forget IED JS and JH are solid approaches too. Like I mentioned before, stinger is the basic projectile, and mixing and matching between S and H stinger is strong. Start to get a feel for which combinations work well against different opponents since everyone has their own habits. Mixing in charge stinger while they wait to dash block lets you hit it again with far slash into stinger, punishing their patience. S stinger into ball set is a nice option since it covers the grounded space while you set up, and can follow up with hitting the ball into another stinger. When you have the space, K set into far slash rinse and repeat can be a low to medium risk way of controlling the mid-range while giving you the option to approach if you want. As you get closer, 5K is the better option since you can dash cancel to approach with it. Since stinger and raid both use charge inputs, make sure to charge with down back. This way you can do up back with S or H while keeping the back charge to do forward with S or H after. I've always been a fan of using BRC and neutral in general, but with K ball set, hitting a ball then dash BRC gives you an active hitbox with all the benefits of BRC, making it incredibly powerful. If they block, you're more than plus enough to run up an instant JD for an overhead or threaten 2K and 2D for lows. Or just auto-confirm into typical pressure strings. Going right into 6K, then ball set lets you frame trap with close slash or 2K, go for a command grab, JD, or get a combo on hit. While you won't get all the benefits of BRC, doing 5K or far slash into wild assault is another strong option since it's the only way you'll get a meterless combo from far slash besides QV. Doing 6P into QV is a nice way to cover the ground and the air at the same time, but they both have dead zones, so don't overuse this. When poking with far slash into OS and neutral, since you'll pretty much always be doing QV after, it's important to learn the hit stop OS of doing DP into whichever button, then release and press it a second time. This gives you uncharged QV on normal hit, but lets you react and hold it down on the second press slightly, giving you partial charge QV for a hard knockdown. This turns your mid pokes from a small threat of a little damage into a neutral reset, now into a set play starter. A nice slingshot option with RC is S set JP JS dash BRC JS. S stinger is very nice to give you more time to set up raid or ball set for more space control. H raid into 5K after stinger is a great way to control a huge part of the ground with low risk. And since you have these threats, you can be the aggressor and dash up far slash, potentially catching them out of dash block while letting yourself get another ball set up. Preemptive JK air-to-airs, especially with S ball set, should be a useful part of your game plan to help control how they move. If they jump over stinger and the balls are sent off screen, they are still an active threat if you use the gravity super since it will pull the balls in with active hitboxes. It can be one of the last resorts to save yourself from options like Jacko minions or punish her for holding one. You can also intentionally set this up by doing S stinger into H stinger to have it go past them, leaving a threat behind them to punish an option on reaction. Since 5P isn't a great anti-air and 6P has a lot of recovery, doing dash under into close slash is a great and high reward option for dealing with jump-ins. Be especially mindful of this in the mid to long range since IEDs are an easy way to punish stinger and a number of other zoning options he has. A strong but difficult option is 6Ping a ball then canceling into stinger. Simply doing charge back, then forward 6P, 6S won't work. You have a 10 frame window to go from back to forward, then 9 frames to press the button for the charge move. So you'll have to press 6P within the first 10 frame window, and 6S in the 9 frame window following that. You'll essentially want to hit forward and P on the same frame or as close as you can get. The timing is pretty strict, so I recorded a hand cam with 2 variations doing the input. Sorry for the non-leverless users, but for player 1 side, you can shift your hand over and hit both forward and P using your index and middle finger to help you get the timing closer. Then use the ring finger to hit S. And here it is in real time with the audio in case that helps with hearing the timing. Since that only works for player 1 side, it's important to learn it without the hand shift trick. While you can hold down P while you hit S, I find tapping and releasing P to help me narrow in on the timing for when to hit S. Unfortunately, it's pretty hard to describe the timing, and there are times I can do it 5 times in a row, then mess it up 5 times in a row, so it is something you'll have to mess around with and figure out, but the hand cam and audio can help a bit. For more detail on the frame data for the inputs, check the strategy page on the wiki linked in the description. Once a ball is set and hit, it will become an active hitbox for a little over 1 second or until it makes contact, then inactive for 1 more second before disappearing. During the active or inactive phase, it can be hit again to reset the timer. This can make things like looping dash 5P let you approach with an active hitbox in front of you. It's pretty simple, but low risk and effective. Since the game counts it as you hitting something, you can special cancel or even dash cancel it from a 5k. K set into 5k dash cancel is another easy way to have some protection as you approach. It is important that the ball stays in front of you so it can actually protect you. But it will trade with other standard projectiles, which is great, especially when you cancel the ball into Stinger, letting you win practically every non-super projectile war. Stinger by itself can do this, but it's nice that both options can nullify projectiles. Here's a quick overview of what the angles, different normals from K set looks like. Every one of these is useful, but you'll likely be doing the ones that go straight forward, or the 6p angle most often. Looping K set into 5k then 5p lets you control the mid-range very well, with relatively low recovery or downtime. The main options that have to use are low-profile options or IEDs, but since it's low recovery you can react in 6p, or the balls might hit them out of their movement. But K set into 6p by itself is a strong anti-air option, which is good to pair with Stinger zoning. This gets even better when you special cancel into QV to quickly cover the mid-range while setting up another ball. It's also worth mentioning that hitting the ball then canceling into Stinger can give some extra coverage, having the ball bounce covering a wider area. P set is not used as often in neutral, but it is great against characters that have low profile options. 2k, 2s, and 2d are the best options from P set. And since you'll be doing crouching normals, you can charge H-raid and cover an anti-air angle quickly after covering a low profile angle. But dashing behind a looping 2p is similar to the 5p, but won't lose to 6p or the low profiles. Going into raid can give some nice defensive angles, but they're slow and you can't cancel it into anything like from normals, so it's not as great. H set really only sets up far slash or Stinger, but can give some more unique bounce interactions. I find S set to be the most fun since it gives you much more control over how you move around while threatening multiple angles. Starting simple, JP is a quick low recovery option. The trade-off being it doesn't cover a large range, making it harder to hit them in the active window. But since you can cancel it into air raid, it gives you a way to prevent being air-to-aired while covering a strong angle while even setting up combo potential. And Dash Jump JP lets you move it forward to give access to other air options, giving much more freedom for how you control the ball. JK is the better version of this, but has more recovery and a larger hurt box, making it easier to trade in air-to-airs. But this is very important to use preemptively against IED attempts, and it can even trade against air projectiles that may be annoying during Stinger zoning. Same as JP, this straight angle with dash momentum lets you pair with JS or JH to approach behind a protected angle. Even JS into JH works to set up a strong approach. Dash into IED back is a good way to cover the important angles with low recovery and without giving up space. Pairing it with air raid can let you cover both the air and mid-range at the same time. While Stinger zoning is strong, just doing H-Stinger over and over is very vulnerable to IEDs. Mixing in S-Set into JK H-Raid is a very strong preemptive option. If they're dash blocking in and even try to react, they'll get hit out of the air-to-air attempts and get stuffed out of grounded pokes, and if they block it, you'll be safe. There is a danger zone of them getting too close, making air raid whiff, leaving you in counter hit recovery, but you do have the option to charge air raid to have it come out lower if you can react to this. But in general, S-Set then JK into H-Raid is one of the strongest neutral options he has, since it covers two of the most important angles at the same time. Using H-Raid to get a ball out faster than normal set is also good to know. You do have to be more precise about how you time hitting the ball, since sometimes you may just whiff, so make sure to practice the timing. It's one of the fastest ways to catch full screen jump height, just like ID back H-Raid, but generally, treat it like a faster startup K-Set. When using ball set, the ball can be hit before it reaches its final spot, giving you a lot more variation than you may think. Doing a button into Stinger may send the balls at completely different angles at one timing, but simply doing Stinger at the right timing during the set can launch them both together. And the farther the ball is when you Stinger, the tighter the spread is on the collision. Mixing up how many balls are on the screen, the height at which they're sent, and the distance from you when you Stinger lead to near endless possibilities for angles you can cover. Using P-Set gives the most amount of possible heights since you can hit it at any point as it goes to the ground. This can let you get really low to the ground launches or even ones near chest level, so if you want more control, use P-Set. As a reminder, you can jump cancel the air balls on hit in case you think you'll be hit out of the recovery or want to cover another angle with air raid. And while the general goal of zoning is to control space, which he's good at, the most important thing to remember is that patience is necessary. Throwing out a lot of options is good, but he does have a lot of recovery tied into Stinger and ball sets. So when you have space, set up preemptive counters like S-Set into JK or ID back JH raid. If you don't have space, poking with far slash into QV to control space and set up a ball will be very useful. But sometimes it's best to simply be patient and wait and see what options they're looking to use to get in on you. From before, JK into air raid is really strong, and even has combo potential if they get hit in the air. If you're really scared of them jumping or IEDing but don't want the risk of getting hit out of JK, simply super jumping into H-Raid should do a good job covering it. JH into Air Raid focuses more on covering the ground and mid-range, but does cover the air a bit later. For some variation, charging the Air Raid can change the angles and speeds they get sent at. JP, JH, 2S is great at covering in front of you while setting up an anti-low profile option. Since it slowly crosses the ground, you can set up a charge stinger for more setups. 2S can be replaced by 2H or any other P set option. Choose what's best based on how they're moving. Multi-ball set doesn't seem that great in neutral, honestly. It's pretty slow and it can mess up the angles you'd be wanting to send them unless you really dive deep into labbing the interactions. While Dark Angel is strong, it's easy for them to jump to try to get around it. So if you have the space, P and K set can be used to lock them down a bit, then cover the airspace with either hitting the ball with 6P or tap dust. Changing the timing when you hit the ball or cancel into another option can have a drastic impact on how the interaction goes. While I tried to include as many examples as I could, there are just so many possibilities, it really is just best to go into training mode and test it out for yourself. Not only do the timing and height matter, but the amount of balls in the collision changes it even more. While having 2 or more balls set is not super realistic, it is possible, especially if you were aiming to do that specifically. It was fun trying to see what he can do, but I feel like I've only scratched the surface of what's possible. These examples should be more than enough for what's realistic and useful, but stay curious and test out new options for yourself. For quick pokes like 2P, going into PQV, then 2K is a quick, hard to punish option. From dashing options like 2K and 5K, use the threat of frame traps and lows from 2D as a way to go for tick throws. When a bit closer, going into 6K pulls them in for a command grab. But if you want this to be effective, you'll have to learn to start holding down as soon as you input 6K, so you'll be able to charge for H-Raid as a true string or frame trap option. Unfortunately, if they are preemptively FDing, it can be a little risky to go for this option, but you'd more likely be doing it close from pressure already. And while it's not likely they'll do it, FDing will make H-Raid hit later, letting them mash out of it. This can either hit a quick option like 2K or a bigger punish like 2D. But if both hits of 2D connect and are FD'd, then you'll be spaced out enough to be safe, and you should be able to react at that point to just do QV instead and frame trap. With enough dash momentum and being close enough, FD won't save them from the command grab threat. When doing close slash pressure, first hit 2D into H-Raid is safe and +9. Doing both hits of 2D will leave a mashable gap even without FD. Alternatively, you can do 2H, which does have the first hit low too and frame traps. It has great reward on counter hit, so having the auto frame trap with a command grab threat is nice. Same as 2K without dash momentum, close slash 6K is unlikely to connect. If it does, you can threaten 2S into Stinger or QV, or even a dash up button if they still seem scared. Close slash 6K H-Raid into close slash again can be true string if they don't FD. 6K also easily sets up the command grab, especially if they don't FD. When poking with far slash and 2S, PQV sets up 2K to launch the ball at an angle difficult for them to contest. PQV into 2D is also a good angle to launch it. KQV sets up 5P or 5K into another ball set. 5K jump back or IED back air raid is also a good retreating option. A bit more risky is 5K IED JH to steal a turn. 5K dash cancel to have a little protection on a reapproach is nice. Or 5K into ball set to go into another setup. And use 5K into Stinger to catch jumping and stay grounded. Use far slash into QV to catch dash block and set up another ball. SQV sets up JS air dash to steal a turn. Dash jump JS is a little safer. Or even just JS into air raid. JHJD can set up a wall while you charge Stinger or raid. Just JD into held air raid sets up a ball as you land for 2K or 2D. And just air raid can cover multiple angles too. Dash IED back JS is a nice way to cover a retreat. You don't even have to use the ball immediately, but save it to cover airspace later. And 6H is a giant button that is nice to be backed by a ball since you can whiff cancel it. HQV is mostly useful when spaced out, so you can quickly threaten them with far slash. When pressuring with JD, make sure to hold down during it so you can do H-Raid once you hit the ground to be +9. If you haven't already practiced it, it's a good idea to focus on the timings both to get the charge for H-Raid after the 6K, but also learning the timings to make it true string and frame trap when you want. And learning to catch fuzzy jumping is good, but that can vary a lot. If they FD and don't mash, it's likely they'll make you much more plus, like here being +22 instead of +9. It is important to note that 2K 6K will always have a gap, but close slash 6K will true string. But like I mentioned before, getting the timing down is important since you don't have a low threat after 6K, so they can just mash throw while being safe to true string and punish a more than 2 frame gap if they don't FD. If they do FD, you can react and frame trap with Stinger rather than QV. When spaced out, it's practically safe, but closer range it can lose to 6p, though it's really unlikely to just try to call this out. When closer to the corner, you can use H-Stinger to bounce off the wall and come back, leaving you very plus, but it's pretty specific. Mid-screen it won't lead to anything, so generally I'd recommend just using QV. Without FD, you can autopilot True String into 2K 2D QV, then any of the follow-up pressure from before. Just to add a little more is that you can do H-Ray to set up another ball a little quicker for pressure or better neutral resets. JD is a great option, but be careful when they FD, since it can leave you unsafe. The best way to stay safe against FD is to jump cancel it backwards. When on defense, wire C into the threat of a command grab is pretty strong due to the guard crush, and since it's easy to side switch with 6K or just dashing past them, it's great to be able to wall break easily. One of the more advanced techniques he has is close slash dash kara H raid. Not only do you need to start charging as soon as you input close slash, but when moving to the up input for the H raid, you need to time the dash macro when you're either pressing no direction or forwards, then quickly hit up and H. It's great to have since it's his best way of looping plus frames, and with no FD, it should be all true string, letting you build up a lot of risk for a high damage command grab or frame trap combo. While mid-screen and fighting FD, it will at a minimum keep you +9, but potentially more while letting you stay closer than normal, letting microdash 2K either true string or frame trap. Mix that in with command grabs or other turn steals like dash close slash to make them scary. To make the command grab scarier, 5K into delayed dash kara command grab is really strong. It lets you command grab as a tick throw from farther away than you may think. The downsides are that the input is tricky and you need to manually delay after the 5K so that you don't try to command grab them while they're still in block stun. Ending a string with QV into fast RC 5K lets you dash cancel to get right back in and be plus. You don't have to dash cancel, and you can use the other 30 plus frames to set up anything else you like. Something sneaky to throw in is tap dust fast RC forward command grab. From 2p, Gatling into itself, then 6p for a soft knockdown into a setup. To keep it easy and consistent, 2p into H-Stinger works well too and sends them full screen. 2K 2D into H-Stinger is a good way to reset neutral, same as from 2p. But charging during 2D into H-Raid lets you combo into 5K 6H for a hard knockdown. You can replace 5K with close slash to be a little more optimal. It's important to know that 2D into H-Raid won't always work when you do both hits, so if you're ever unsure if it'll connect, just do the first hit of 2D into H-Raid and it should work practically every time. But you can always just stop at 2D and take the knockdown. For close slash, 2H into QV is a simple and consistent route. When close, first hit close slash into 2H then H-Raid lets you run up close slash again for an extension. For first slash and 2S, uncharged QV or H-Stinger are the main combos. For raw 2H, it's similar to the close slash 2H routing being one of the more optimal starters. When doing JD, charge down during the attack so you can do H-Raid once you land, then 5K or close slash 6H for the knockdown. You can add on partial charge QV, which keeps the hard knockdown and adds a bit more damage, but spaces you out more. The fully charged dust combo is H, jump HS, HS, HH. For mid-screen command grab, close slash IED JH for some corner carry, then end however you like. In the corner, close slash jump back delay JS, JH to keep them from bouncing out of the corner. A simple corner steal is 5K dash cancel 6K. If you're a bit further away, then just go right into 6K. For a lot of corner carry, 5H into ball set, then dash up close slash. Since 5H has a tumble effect, using it after the main hits of Dark Angel gives you a lot of corner carry while letting the missile still combo. The easiest way to combo to Dark Angel is with close slash 2H right into super. If you get a counter hit 2H, do fully charged KQV into dash 5K for an extension. Counter hit 2D can mess up the routing since they won't pop up into the air at the same timing, so be careful. You can fix this by just delaying the H-Raid, or just skip the raid entirely and do either a 5K or close slash based on how far you are. When poking with far slash into QV, convert with RC into 5K dash cancel since it leaves you enough gravity to do another 5K into close slash for an ender. Doing HQV can also work and will keep them high up, but you may want to just stick with the dash cancel into close slash for consistency. From a tap dust RC, fully charged dust into the same extension works well. As it was shown off a few times, when you get close to the corner, it's best to route into 5H, then fully charged QV. When anti-airing with 5k, a simple combo that you can react with is JS H H air raid. You can optimize this with dash up /2h into the standard optimal route. To take it further, do 6h then fully charged Wild Assault with 2p into / then an ender. When air-to-airing with an S ball set, you can extend with JS / 6h Wild Assault into the same routing. You don't need the ball set, but it can help give you a little extra height to work with. From a dashing / 2h, you do get the 5k dash cancel routing for a good corner carry without using any resources. If you aren't dashing, you won't be close enough. It is possible to get it without dash momentum if you just do the first hit of /, but even then it's a bit tight when it comes to spacing. Optimized corner routing ends with charged PQV, then 2p to have the ball splat them. This gives you enough time to do the multi-ball set for a higher damage super. Combo into Dark Angel by doing 2k 2d H raid, 5k then super. Follow up as normal with the 5h to get the corner carry. After / 2h, charged Wild Assault gives a fully charged dust to add a bit of optimization. Same idea goes for anti-airing with /, just do 6h instead of 2h. But it's good to have a high damage anti-air route, so it's worth learning. Adding Dark Angel into the combo only makes it better and adds more corner carry, so if you have it, use it. Counterhit 5k into Wild Assault then Command Grab gives the same route as typical Command Grab. Remember from before that when you do far slash and 2s into QV and neutral, double tap the button and hold it if you see the counterhit to get a hard knockdown. Wild Assault will combo on counterhits, so doing a hit stop OS of QV into Wild Assault can be useful too. Counterhit / 6h fast RC fully charged dust can then be used to go into a Wild Assault extension for a lot of damage. This Wild Assault extension is pretty useful for 2h counterhit, leading to a lot of damage. If a counterhit's spaced out, fully charged QV pops them up enough for you to run up and continue. This route even works from H raid starters, which is great for when frame trapping or meeting with it. While it's pretty low damage, going into Wild Assault from a 2k starter to get wall break is definitely worth it. While Venom is generally a low damage character, getting a command grab in the corner leads to a lot of damage, but the combo is not so easy. As soon as the command grab recovers, K set into H raid, then do 2 crouching Ps into another H raid. If they have burst, you'll want to do 5p after this since it's burst safe and will wall stick if they don't. But optimized, you go right into 6h, ball set, into super. The downside is that this only works if you're right in the corner. Doing 6k to pull them to you messes up the spacing. Mixing this in with dash carry H raids is really good to build risk to maximize damage. For a bit of a cheat, Wild Assault into P ball set makes this so you can do 2k into H raid twice, then / into the ender. It's much easier, but has the higher cost to set up and may be more telegraphed what you're going for, but you can use that to your advantage too. A difficult side switch from counterhit / has you do a dash cancel, then / dash carry H raid, so you can make it to the corner again. For an easier version, just go into 6h for a knockdown. If you have meter, you can use Dark Angel to go corner to corner. A cool RC combo from 2k2d does S-Stinger, RC into charged dust to let the ball pop them up again. A more optimized tap dust combo is fast RC 2k H raid and / 6h H raid while leaving enough gravity for a dash cancel, giving more corner carry. This combo is a bit more optimal and easier, but since you don't fast RC, it costs about half a bar more. One more extension I wanted to show off is doing / 6k H raid mid combo, which is actually slightly more optimal than the first route. Finally, from JD, you can do essentially a jump cancel BRC when you hit the ground as an optimization. A simple Oki setup for a spaced out 2D knockdown is H raid into 5k dash cancel. This should leave you between +20 and +30 while staying safe to reversals, letting you easily start pressure or a combo. Instead of going right into /, you can do JD to potentially catch them off guard. When you're closer and route into a 6h knockdown, the same setup works. Since you're spaced out more, it'll leave you even more plus, and potentially let you even get an ambiguous left-right. While getting safe pressure started is nice, doing dash jump JS lets you set up a high-low with land 2k versus delayed JD. Another way to go into mix-ups is by doing K set into 5k IED. This will give you same side or cross up based on the use of air FD and spacing on the knockdown, while essentially giving you a high-low on both sides. From throw, a basic setup is K-set into 5K dash cancel, similar to the H-ray setup, but it's important to note that while it does meaty and catch most smashes, it will be vulnerable to 6P. You can block and punish, but it's generally better to not have to worry about this. So instead of K-set, P-set or doing H-raid like before works better. Thought it was worth mentioning K-set does work, but it has a major flaw. Also, if they wake up backdash, the ball won't reach and punish, but just doing close slash after the dash cancel will punish it. For some safe jumps, microdash super jump can work, but it's a little difficult to get it right. Backdash IED-JH also works and is more consistent. In the corner, OTG 2D into H-raid for an easy safe meaty. Now for QV, the fully charged version is great, but not really that practical to combo into. Instead, the partial charge version still gives a hard knockdown and sets a ball at the same time, which is very useful. A simple setup is to end with the partial charge K version, then 5K IED into JD or MT2K. Or do dash 5K then jump cancel to set it up, both work fine. But doing the dash 5K does leave you closer, giving access to air dash into cross-up high-lows. You can mess with how long you dash for to make the air dash ambiguous as to which side you'll end on. And as always, adding air FD is generally useful since it'll give you more control on where you want to land and make you land faster. You can use the S version of QV, then dash jump JS air dash for another ambiguous left-right high-low. The dash 5K IED Oki does still work from longer combos too, so pick your favorite. When wall breaking with super, H-Stinger is nice since it gives a delayed meaty since the ball bounces back, but they can just jump away. If they don't have reversals, IED FD JS is good, but fast reversals will beat you. Using the multi-ball set after 6H knockdowns leads to some nice setups. Starting simple, doing 5K dash cancel covers wake up 6P, unlike normal K set now that it hits off of the H ball. This works well even when spaced, but you'll need to catch backdash yourself. Dash up tap dust can hit the lower 3 balls, letting you combo or potentially be plus on block, but how plus you will be depends on the spacing from the knockdown. Dash up 5K 6K has a more unique interaction now that it hits the K ball with the back hitbox. This leaves you more plus on block and lets you combo into close slash on hit. Microdash 5H into Dark Angel can be a good way to make them block it, though it's a bit finicky about being true string, not that there's much they can do about it anyways. A good thing to get used to is pressing and holding the dash macro, but immediately starting a down charge after the input. This lets you get a running H-raid that is useful for Oki from practically every hard knockdown. Since you can do it early and the ball is so active, you can easily be safe to reversals while staying close. You don't even need a hard knockdown, even air hit 5K dash cancel works. And with the threat of a safe plus a meaty, it lets you go for JD or command grabs too. For a safe jump from partial charge QV, micro dash JD, air dash JH works, but it can be a bit difficult. After comboing into Dark Angel, knocking them down into JH lets you air dash and have the missile hit cross up. This can also be done with 5K IED, and the timing you air dash will change which side it hits on. From the ball set into 5K dash cancel Oki, you can hit stop OS reversals by doing close slash into jump back. If you just hit the ball, you'll jump cancel, but if you put them in block stun or hit stun, it will take priority, leaving you grounded to continue pressure. For corner throw Oki, OTG with PQV into 2K to pull them out of the corner while being plus. It leaves them really close and you at plus 12, so dash command grab is easy to set up and go into the high damage route. There are a few ways to go into Dark Angel from throw, but OTG 6H and 2D are the main ways. Once they block it, jump forward into air dash back JS or empty 2K for a high low that's auto confirms and keeps you plus. Or go for JD after anything grounded or tap dust. OTG 2D is great since it lets you get the H-raid meaty as well. Since it leaves you very plus, safely meaties, and catches backdash, it's probably the best corner Oki he has, but OTG QV and running H-raid are also great options. Like I said before, he feels like a character with limitless options, but this should be more than enough to take you far and help you find some never before seen setups. Thank you for watching.